Hello everyone, this is Chilly from BJD Dragons and I'm the jungler for BJD, and today I'll be showing you a very simple tutorial on how to play the two champions Kha'zix and Rengar. Kha'zix and Rengar are pretty similar champions as they are both suitable to be played in the jungle. However, they are very interesting in their own parts as they have very distinguished playstyle and they both want to assassinate enemy backlines and their carries. Now let's take a look at Kha'zix, and for his passive Unseen Threat, Kha'zix basically enhances his next attack to deal additional damage and slow his enemies. For his first ability, Taste Their Fear, he slashes his enemies for additional damage against isolated targets. And for his second skill, White Spike, he basically fires a spike, and if Kha'zix is within the explosive radius, he will actually heal a portion of the damage to himself. And his third ability, Leap, he basically will jump to his enemy and will do damage on his landing. And finally, his ulti, White Assault, will grant Kha'zix with 2 charges which will make him invincible. And what makes him more interesting is that for every point that you add onto his ulti, he will be able to evolve his other skills and will change the abilities of his other skills. And we'll check it out later more in game. And in terms of the loadout, we'll look at the item build that I have for Kha'zix. I would recommend you to build Dust Blade first item, and then you can follow it by a Ghost Blade, and you can go for Lucidity Boots for the ability Haze, and you can close them out with GA, Mortal Reminder, and Black Cleaver. For his Rune Setup, I recommend you to go for Electrocute, as it helps Kha'zix to have more burst damage, and it's very important for him to have burst damage to take down enemy carries. And then after that, I will go with Brutal, Hunter Titan, and Hunter Genius for the additional ability Haze. And for summoner spells, as a jungler, I would take Flash and Smite. Now let's get into game for some real action. Right, now that we are in Summoner's Rift, for his first item, I would go for Longsword. And for his Trinket, you can go for a Warding Trinket if you're against like aggressive jungle like Lee Sin, or you can go for Sweeper if you're against like weaker jungle like Wukong or Rammus. And for his jungle buffing, I would always start on red buff, and this is because in Wild Rift, the red buff is slightly weaker than the blue buff, and it takes a shorter time for you to finish up the red buff. And for Kha'zix, you want to up his first skill for his jungle. And over here, you make sure to use your ability in between auto attacks. And after that, on level 2, you want to put your point on his White Spike as it gives you a faster clear. And after my red buff, I will walk to the wolves. And when you're at wolf, make sure to focus down the larger wolf as your auto attack has splash damage. And after finishing wolf, you want to walk to your blue buff. Use your abilities in between of attacks. And if everything goes smoothly, you should be able to secure your Scatter Crab at 125, exactly the time it comes out, right here. And as you are hitting the Scatter Crab, you can start planning for your next move. You can try to gank top, you can try to gank mid, or if there's no gank opportunity, you can just go back to farming on your jungle. On level 4, you will get an upgrade on your Smite, and I would recommend you to go for Blue Smite as it gives you like a slow and it enhances your gank ability. And in most cases, you want to, in terms of ganking, you want to save your leap to chase down your enemy. So if you're at a flanking position, you would want to walk up to him and start with an auto attack. Oops. Well, in normal cases, if you have a mid laner, the Kai'Sa should be dead there. I should try and farm out a little bit here and probably recall for some item. Alright, And as you get to level 5, you will most likely be evolving your first skill because it helps you in terms of his clearing speed, and it gives you an additional boost on your damage. And then now that we have a little bit of money, let's recall to buy some items. I would like to go for Dustblade first item because of the passive of Dustblade. And for every time that you go unseen from enemy, you will actually have additional damage on your next attack. And this synergizes well with Kha'zix's ulti. And I will show you how to gank as Kha'zix post level 5. You can use your ulti to walk up to enemy so that you will be unseen, and then start with auto attack and your other abilities. And then you can use your second charge to reset your Dustblade passive, and this will allow you to kill your enemy much easier. Enemy jungle decides to face check you, you can kill him very easily. You can start off with an auto attack for his passive. You can use your first ability, second ability, and then followed by your ulti, which resets the passive of Dustblade, remember? So you follow with an auto attack with enhanced slow, and that's how you are going to bring down enemy. And for a more advanced trick, when you are level 9, you can put your evolve onto your third ability, Leap, and what it does is it allows Kha'zix to have a reset on his Leap whenever there's a champion takedown, and that is an assist or a kill. And what you can do with your Leap is that you can use your Leap followed by your first skill, and it allows you to use your first skill mid-air. And if you combo that with your reset, you will be able to do something like a double jump, which I will demonstrate here. I'll make him low first. Over here, I will use my Leap followed by my first ability. And finally at level 15, Kha'zix will have his final evolvement, and I would say it's pretty flexible for you to choose from. If you want to go for a more poking centric team comp, you can evolve your Void Spike, and Kha'zix will be shooting 3 missiles instead of 1, and it will also slow his enemy. Whereas if you want to have a more gank potential, you can also evolve his Void Assault, which gives him additional movement speed, and it has 3 charges on his invincibility. And I guess that's all for Kha'zix, and let's move on to Rengar. On to the next champion, let's take a look at Rengar. For his passive Unseen Predator, if Rengar is in a bush or is in a state of camouflage, he will leap to his target and gain 1 ferocity. His first ability, Savagery, basically enhances his next attack to deal additional damage and grant him additional attack speed. For his second ability, Battle Roar, Rengar will heal a portion of the damage he's taken in the last 2 seconds. His third skill, Bola Strike, will throw a bola to his enemy to deal damage and slow them for 1.75 seconds. And finally, his ulti, Thrill of the Hunt, will grant 30% movement speed to Rengar and put him into a camouflage state for 12 seconds. In terms of his loadout, I recommend you for his item build to go with first item Trinity Force, followed by Dead Main Plate, and then you can close it out with Mercury Threads for the bonus Tenacity, GA, Spirit Research, and Renduin's Omen. For his runes, you can go Conqueror since he's more tanky than Kha'zix, and then you can choose Brutal, Hunter Titan, and Pathfinder for the bonus movement speed. And for his summoner spell, in no surprise, you will choose Flash and Smite. Now let's get into game to test out Rengar. Alright, we are now in the game with Rengar. And for his starting item, I would go for Longsword. And in terms for his trinket, it's pretty similar to the Kha'zix one. You can go for a warding trinket if you're against aggressive jungle, and sweeping lance against weaker jungle. And I will start my jungle on Rengar with his first ability, Savagery, as it provides the fastest clear. And since we're waiting for the buff, I would like to explain a little bit about Rengar. Because Rengar doesn't use mana, but instead he has a ferocity, and if Rengar has 4 ferocity, he will actually enhances his other abilities. And there's one little tips from Rengar is that if you auto attack from the bush, you actually grant an additional ferocity. And instead of going for Wolf, I would go for Raptors, since Rengar has a faster clear than Kha'zix. I'll walk through the mid lane and then go for the Blast Cone. And then I would make it for the scatter just on time. Well, something to take note as well is that if you want to get the Ferocity from the bush, you can only gain the first Ferocity for Rengar. For example, if I'm on 2 stacks, it doesn't allow me to get another stack on my Ferocity. For Smite upgrade, I would recommend to go for Blue Smite as well for the additional slow. And for ganking patterns for Rengar, it's actually pretty hard for Rengar to gank pre-5 because he's a pretty ulti reliant champion. But if you do want to gank pre-5, you need to set it up by jumping on one of the minions that is close to the bush. I will demonstrate it to you now. And since now I'm level 5, I will show you how to gank as Rengar post 5. You activate his ulti, and by doing this, you will be on camouflage state and you can leap to your target. And do take note when you're using Rengar's ulti. If you walk too near to enemy, they will be able to see you as you are in the camouflage state instead of invincibility. If you take note at the round circle around me, that's basically the range that I can be. If I walk too near to the enemy, there will be an exclamation mark that shows that he can see me. And since now that we know the basics of Rengar, we need to know when to use his Ferocity in different cases. To maximize your damage, you want to use your Ferocity on Savagery. And when you have 3 Ferocity, you can do a triple attack by doing auto attack, Savagery, Savagery. In cases where you just want to survive and buy time, you can use your Ferocity on Battle Roar as it removes all crowd control and gives you additional movement speed. And finally, if you have allies around you, you can use your Ferocity on Bola Strike to set up kills for your team. And I guess that's it for the simple tutorial today. I hope that you have learned something, and this is BJD Chilly signing now. See you in the Rift.